If I hear one more person say that this sequel should have been called Now You Don't, I am going to lose it. Now You See Me 2. Now You See Me 2 is the follow-up to 2013's mildly successful original film, Now You See Me. The same cast returns with the exception of Isla Fisher, who was apparently pregnant during filming according to Google, and was replaced with Lizzie Kaplan, who plays Lula. Goes to show you that kids ruin everything. So the Horsemen have been in hiding since the events of the last movie, and have now been given orders from the secret magician organization, the Eye, to expose a corrupt tech company that is trying to steal millions of people's private information, manipulate the stock markets, and just do a whole bunch of other evil things. As a major fan of the first film who really hoped there was going to be a sequel, there are still a lot of elements from the first film that are in this one that I really enjoyed. However, this movie had a really completely different feel. There were still spectacles just like the last movie, but I felt they weren't as big or magical. This movie is a lot more story-driven than the original, and unveils a lot more about Mark Ruffalo's character in particular, which I really enjoyed. I thought those bits worked really well. And although all of the backstory was great, I felt like that the current story involving the Horsemen and their motivation for being there in terms of the current mission was really lacking. Because they tried to focus more on the story, it felt that the Horsemen as magicians took a slight backseat in this one with far less magic than the last movie. And then when we do get the magic tricks that are actually larger than life, they're just way too far-fetched to believe. However, there is this one amazing high-style scene where it's all about sleight of hand with a playing card, and they're all getting frisked and they're trying to make sure that they can't find the card. Super intense and super entertaining. Best scene in the movie by far. The cast in this movie is once again great, although it did feel like they were just improvising a large portion of the movie. There are tons of moments where Jesse Eisenberg, Lizzie Chaplin, and Woody Harrelson just feel like they're making everything up on the spot and just saying and doing whatever it is they want. Now, I usually love stuff like that, but I'm telling you, it seems like they do it a lot in this movie. Also, Lizzie Kaplan as the new member of the Horsemen really worked for me in this movie. She had a lot of really funny and interesting lines, and her brand of magic was actually really cool to see. The only thing is that her eccentric character is borderline amusing and annoying. Although every role was acted well, I honestly felt that nobody really wanted to be there besides Dave Franco and Lizzie Kaplan. Especially Jesse Eisenberg. You get the same old Jesse Eisenberg performance and mannerisms that we have come to know and love, but his character just didn't feel the same as in the last movie. Also, Woody Harrelson plays his twin brother in this movie, who is completely useless, and after his initial introduction is outrageously annoying and a big nuisance. There was no need for him to have a twin. They should have just hired another actor and it would have worked out a lot better. Mark Ruffalo is the only character in the movie that felt like he had any type of specific reason for being there and any type of emotional attachment to the Eye and the missions that they're carrying out, as opposed to everybody else who just kind of felt like they were there for the sake of being there because they were in the last movie. There really aren't any stakes for the Horsemen in this. They easily could have just walked away and everything would have gone back to normal. We are never really given any type of true conviction or drive for them to want to be a part of the Eye. Daniel Radcliffe was also really enjoyable to watch in this movie, and honestly, I would like to see him pick up some more villainous roles in the future. I think it'd be interesting. The only issue with this character is that he's essentially useless to the overall plot, and then he eventually just gets swept under the rug. The biggest issue I had with this movie that was in small amounts in the last one was that it felt like they couldn't really decide what type of magic they were actually trying to use. And what I mean by that is magic as an art form in terms of sleight of hand and card tricks and all the other tricks, or actual mystical magic. The movie does explain the majority of the tricks that they do, but there are multiple spots where they don't explain anything because they're impossible to explain. Jesse Eisenberg straight up turns into water and then teleports. Somehow. No explanation whatsoever. And at some point in the movie, they all teleport to China and none of them know how, and then they even address that there's no way to explain it in the movie. Once again, no explanation. Guys, Now You See Me 2 is still a fun movie to watch if you're willing to suspend your disbelief and just go along with all of the spectacles and the anemic story progression. There are many moments in this movie where the cast chemistry alongside the magic are still enjoyable. It's just that as an overall package, it's just not as great as the original. And that's why I'm gonna give Now You See Me 2 a 6 out of 10. If you didn't like this movie, don't worry, we have a franchise on our hand, so there's gonna be at least one more film to redeem themselves. Now You See Me 2. Have you seen it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comment section below. And while you're at it, let me know your favorite magic trick from either movie. And as always, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see any of my upcoming movie reviews and you want to make sure that you don't miss any, hit subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one.